back out for a little bit more carp fishing, and I'm actually back in the same location among the willow trees where we filmed episode 4. It's about a month later now. We're now at the end of September. It's been quite a bit cooler. The water temperature's starting to drop, but these fish should really be putting the feed bag on. And yet again, we're trying something a little bit different. We're not baiting up the area like we would traditionally. I didn't put any corn or maize or anything like that out. I'm actually fishing very specific spots, so tight little locations, by baiting the area with a PVA bag attached to my hook bait, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So it's just starting to come up to sunrise. The ducks are starting to wake up. I've already had, 5 or 6 fish rise just out in front of me. So I know the weeds are going to be a little bit thicker now than they were last time. But I'm up for the challenge, and we should do pretty good today. I think we're going to get into a lot of fish. There's another one that just came up just right there. Yeah, I've got my line in the water. Probably going to recast it in about 10 minutes if I don't get a bite, just because I did put it out there in the dark and I'm not sure that I hit the spot I wanted. But yeah, let's get to it. Well, while we're waiting for that first bite, I thought I'd show you what I'm using. Using the boilie with the pop-up corn as my hook bait. So that's what's been working for me the most this season. I've got a ton of fish coming up right out in front of me. It's odd though, the fish are showing right in close, but they're not. I'm not seeing them moving in close. They don't seem to be feeding in close. I see a lot of feeding activity out in the deeper water, which is where my bait is right now. So hopefully they'll pick one up soon. But what we're doing with the boiling the pop-up corn, instead of baiting the whole area, I'm actually baiting up specifically where my hook bait is. I'm using a PVA bag or PVA stick. There it is there. Now, what I'm doing is I just hook this onto the hook just to protect the points so that it doesn't get into the leaves or any of the debris that are out there. With it being late September, there's a lot of stuff that's starting to settle down onto the bottom that my hook is getting tangled into and stuff like that. And I want to make sure that I can present that hook, out in the open, ready to go as soon as a carp takes it. So if you're familiar with like trout fishing, like tying roll bags and things like that, same sort of deal. It's just a bunch of stuff in a bag. In particular, it's the ground bait mix that I use that we talked about in episode 1. And this particular mesh, though, melts in water. So you get this out there, it sinks to the bottom, and about 20 or 30 seconds later, the mesh is completely gone. You've got this little mound of bait just sitting around your hook bait. So when that carp comes in and starts digging around in it, boom, they're on your bait right away. So I'll show you how to actually tie one of these up. Now, you can get these in the mesh form like I'm using today. I also have some solid bags. So it's not all perforated and things like that. Just pack it really tight. That presentation I tend to use the inline pair lead for when I'm using the solid bags, because then I can cast it out as one big rocket way out there, and it'll just when you pack them tight, it almost explodes when the PVA melts and the bait just kind of falls all around it. So let's just get this ready here. So I've got my bag of ground bait right here. And again, it's the same ground bait that I always use, my own little mix. There's a few ingredients that I don't necessarily tell everybody about, but you got the idea. And what I do is I just put it in this tube here that the mesh is around. It's like a big sock of this mesh. And I pack it down with a little plunger. Then, just kind of push it out the bottom. So it's like a tightly packed little stick. Give it a few turns here, just to try and tighten it up. And just a simple overhand knot to finish it off. nice little bag here. Then you do another overhand knot right above it, and that will be the bottom of the next bag that you tie on the sock. Just need to get my scissors out. It's always good to have everything to hand so that you're ready to go. Do this quick. I tied up about 8 or 10 of these last night, just to make sure that I was prepared. I didn't have to spend any time doing this, in between bites. I want to make sure that I can just grab one, toss it right back out there. It's that simple. Anywhere from just shy of golf ball size to just over golf ball size is more than enough for what I'm doing. And we've had a couple of indications so far, so I think it's just a few fish just kind of grubbing around in it, but no real takes yet. Could be because it's colder out. It's only about 15 degrees this morning. Last time I fished this spot, it was about a month ago, and I think it was about 28 degrees, so a big difference. But the activity's out there, and I'm sure we're going to get a couple, hopefully soon. Sun just came up about 15-20 minutes ago. So it's still early. Managed to get through my whole coffee this time, though. So there we go. Got a PVA bag ready. Made a mess of the tackle box. If your local tackle shop doesn't carry PVA, it's not something that's incredibly easy to find around here, unless you have a kind of a carp specific section to your local tackle shop. This PVA in particular, I actually bought online. There's a shop online called New World Carp, and man, they got all kinds of stuff. A lot of things that you just can't find in your local shop. I'm lucky enough that this stuff I got last summer, from newworldcarp.com. I also have some solid bags that I picked up from my local tackle shop, Peter's Tackle. But look around. If your shop doesn't have it, go online. You'll find it, any number of places, and try it out. Definitely, it will work. If you're in that situation where maybe you don't have the time, before you get out for a session, to prepare that maze or prepare a bait that you can, really litter your area with. I always tend to have the PVA with me in my tackle box or my tackle bag, so it's really easy to tie because I never go anywhere without the ground bait. So I can always get that little bit of extra bait out there if I don't have the other stuff with me to set up. So I think a recast might be in order. It's been a little while since we've had any real indication, but the fish are still active in the area. So I'm going to give it about 10 minutes, maybe 15. Give her a recast. Hopefully we can get into some of those big early fall. I think summer ended about 3 days ago, so early fall carp. That's what we're after. We'll bring you back shortly. Well, there we go. The first carp of the morning, our early fall carp, late September. Fell victim to that boilie and the pop-up corn technique on the combi rig we've been using. This time with a PVA bag. And he was hooked really good. He was definitely rooting around in that bait. Definitely a good size. Fat belly, getting ready for winter. Let's get him back. Let's try and get some more. Might only get a few today, but if they're this good, this quality, it's going to be great. Okay, here we go. Got another beauty fish. Well, the second one this morning. But what a beast! Too bad the camera wasn't running while the fish bit. It was a hell of a bite. All 22 pounds of it. This is the second biggest one I've gotten this season, next to the 31 pounder about a month and a half ago. What a battle. What a heavy, fat fish. It just shows that the PVA bag trick is working. Definitely something that I'm going to continue to use in my arsenal. Let's get this fish back. Well, if there was any question about the kind of thick crap that I'm fishing in here somewhere is a nice carp. Look at all that weed. You know, really thick weeds that we're fishing in. We're getting them out. And I think the PVA bag is really what's helping keep my hook from tangling in those weeds. Very lightly hooked. Another really fat fish. You know, these fall fish are really putting the feed bag on, and they're making sure that they fatten up for winter. So this is the best time to get some of the biggest carp you will all year. Look at that beauty. What a nice fish. You know, I just can't get enough of this. You know, fishing with this European gear for a fish that is so plentiful here in Ontario. Especially plentiful in the Niagara region. You know, for years, never knowing the quality of equipment you can use to catch fish like this. You know, just recently finding that out last year, you know, it's made such a difference. I never used to get the quality of fish that I'm getting now. And, you know, it just shows a little bit of research will go a long way. You can catch fish like this on a consistent basis. So the PVA has done it again. You know, tight little pockets of bait out there to get that fish really grubbing around until they get your hook bait. Really, really happy with this one. Let's get this one back. Fish got me all wet. Fish got me all soaked. Hook already came out of the net. Fantastic. I gotta weigh this fish. I might have a second 20 pounder in one session. Oh, definitely the hook came out. It was bent straight. Lucky I got that fish. Wow. What are the chances of that? 2 fish over 20 pounds in one session. Really shows that the PVA bag trick is definitely something worth trying. This fish is a half a pound larger than the 22 pounder I got earlier. Doesn't look like it's got the same kind of belly, but it's really thick across the back. 22.5 pounds. Just a monster. So happy to have gotten this fish. And I think that's a great way to wrap up this episode. So try the PVA tricks. It's gonna make a big difference in your carp fishing. You're gonna get monsters like this if you're in the right spot. You enjoy your time on the water. We'll see you next time.